This is HRTV Rewind, taking a look back at the racing week.
Gulfstream Park opens a month early. Tell the people that don't know why you are opening early this year.
Well, last year we talked about it. We called it. We thought the realignment of dates. A lot of the northern horsemen want to come down earlier and leave earlier. So it's something we've talked about for a few years. Last year finally got it to work out. And it's an experiment that we hope is successful. We're hoping that, we know December's not going to be January, February, but we're hoping it's much better than April.
But on January 1st, when all the horses celebrate a birthday, you're going to have a route race for 3-year-olds in the Gulfstream Park Derby. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, that we're kind of proud of because now it's the first Derby of the year. It's for 3-year-olds, of course. And by adding the second wire, we're allowing the younger horses to get around 2 turns sooner. So the stretch is a little bit shorter, but the idea was to get these. Another thing the horsemen were looking for is to get their young horses around 2 turns. With the 1.125 track, it was just too early. So we've reformulated the track so that we have a second wire, and we'll have the Gulfstream Park Derby, a new race going a 1.16 for 3-year-olds this year.
Cue camera, Siegel, we need a winner. Well, I think compliance officer may be the most logical winner, but I don't think he's going to be much of a price. So I'm going to go with Ancient Rome in the spectacular bid. I think this is a up-and-coming, lightly raced 2-year-old, going to be 3, obviously, in a month, by Roman Ruler. Loved his maiden win at Delaware. Liked the fact that he made the lead, relaxed and kicked clear. Fast time, worked well since, controlling speed. I think Ancient Rome can take the Raising Class win again. I like him to win the spectacular bid.
A 44 3/2 mile for Town Prize, who comes to the 8th pole clear from Ancient Rome. 4 Obi is third on the outside. Down to the 16th pole. Town Prize trying to keep the lead. 4 Obi and Ancient Rome now go by. 4 Obi and Ancient Rome. These two down to the wire. Noses apart. Maybe Ancient Rome in a photo with 4 Obi in the spectacular bid. Then Town Prize and Jordan's Image. Returning to the winner's circle is Ancient Rome. He's a 2-year-old bay colt by Roman Ruler on Of Wish It Were by Is It True. It's Never Too Late who's coming 3 wide. They're into the stretch, and it's Our Edge to catch. Zero Rate Policy comes up after him now. Zero Rate Policy and Our Edge, a furlong to go. Zero Rate Policy takes the lead. Our Edge is back into second. Then it's Never Too Late. Montecero is closing with a rush on the far outside. Here's the wire. Zero Rate Policy won it. Montecero came late for second. It's Never Too Late was third and Our Edge was fourth. And Discreet Dancer takes off for the wire. It's a 5-length lead. And then it's Put It There, followed by Island Scholar, and someday came Discreet Dancer. Under the wire, an impressive 8-length winner.
Well, akin to Traveling Man, Discreet Dancer, the 2-year-old colt, does exactly what you said Top Fletcher would be hoping for. But he looks as smooth, and his action is his stride is as large at the beginning of the top of the stretch as it is crossing the wire, which to me indicates there's no tiring there. He was prepped absolutely, to be fit for today.
He looks like a very well-balanced colt. He doesn't run with his head way down or way up. Everything is in motion just as he's like a well-oiled machine. 102 and change going 5.5 furlongs is fast. Fast enough to break the track record. So that's also good in the old portfolio when you want to go on and, promote him somewhere down the road. So a track record performance by a fast Pletcher horse early in the Gulfstream Park meeting, that's kind of par for the course, isn't it?
Well, I was going to say, let's hope that starts, that we're starting on the right foot for the meet.
Casa Casablanca Smile set loose for the drive as she straightens away. It's Casablanca Smile. She kicks clear to lead at 2.5 lengths. Cheetah all out under Rajiv Mirage, not bridging the gap right now. Then this little soul of mine, Tesoro de Amor, but nobody's gaining on Casablanca Smile. Casablanca Smile, wire to wire in the La Pravallante. As they come to the top of the stretch, Chosen Empire, Silver Medallion side by side as they straighten away. Hollinger is out after them, and Mr. Ryder is cut loose. He's got to get to Silver Medallion. Silver Medallion scoots clear to a 2.5 length lead. Mr. Ryder takes up the chase, then Hollinger, but Silver Medallion's home. Silver Medallion wins the Tropical Turf Handicap.
So, James, we've got you on behind the boots, and I want to start off back in Ireland. I hear you weren't such a very good student growing up as a kid. How did you wind up getting into racehorses?
Well, like a lot of young kids nowadays, not really good at school and just didn't like being in the classroom. So I'd skip school and get into trouble, as much trouble as possible, and the career guidance teacher pulled me into his class one day when I was trying to run out the door. And he said, "What are you doing with your life?" And I said, "Having fun." And he says, "Well, this is about to change." And he gave me an application form for the apprentice school, and I went to the apprentice school and went to work and haven't stopped since.
What are your goals for this year? What is the number one thing that you want this year?
I just want to have fun and keep doing what I'm doing, and I enjoy what I do. I like what I do, and just keep going forward, you know?
Okay, well, let's have some fun. I want some fun facts from you. Favorite food, James?
Anything fried.
Coffee or tea?
Both.
Britney Spears or Lady Gaga?
Neither.
Football or American football?
Soccer.
Golf or cricket?
Golf.
Do you think Scott Hazelton should shave his beard off?
Yes.
Coming up on HRTV Rewind.
Well, claiming crown, the 13th edition here at Fairgrounds. It happened again! The jewel goes to It Happened Again!
This horse was doing so well, and for Steve Asmussen to train off 6 months off, going a mile and 8, that's a super trainer.
You're watching HRTV Rewind.
Let's put a bullet next to your PM work.
All right.
Claiming Crown Day at the fairgrounds. Is this the best blue-collar day? Is this the best day to celebrate the nuts and bolts of our industry?
I think so. It gives the claiming horses a chance to, go for some serious money, and it's always interesting. Everybody's pointing for this race that shows up, and it's going to be a great day, I'm sure.
Welcome to the 2011 Claiming Crown. The Claiming Crown leaving its home of Shakopee, Minnesota for the Big Easy at Fairgrounds. 5 races on the card, highlighted by the $150,000 Claiming Jewel.
We've always had a really good dirt surface, but we put a lot of work into our turf course over the summer, and it's in great shape. The riders are very happy, and that's best you can do when they're happy.
How special is it to have the Claiming Crown, especially for the quote-unquote claiming trainers, to give them an opportunity of a Breeders' Cup, as it were?
Well, we think that was the original purpose behind the creation of the event, and we're delighted to have it here in New Orleans, and we thank the Fairgrounds and the Louisiana HPBA for hosting it, giving this part of the country an opportunity to participate as well.
How important is it for the HBPA to be out here at these events?
Well, we're delighted to represent the 30 affiliates we have and the over 35,000 owners and trainers. And for most of them, this is their Breeders' Cup equivalent.
And they're off in the Claiming Crown Iron Horse. And there's Indian Weaver heading straight out toward the front, along with Built to Precision. Final Fairgrounds furlong. Pedro Lino is slipping away. Leads by 5. Bump it to a half dozen from Built to Precision. Severe Weather, Baby of Fleet, Lambo, and the rest. It's Pedro Lino. Pedro Lino was the Iron Horse. Pedro Lino in a landslide. They're in the final furlong and a half. It's Bombast just finding at the buzzer, charging on the outside. Plasma Beam is next, down toward the final 16th. Here's at the buzzer. at the buzzer in front at 46-1 under C.J. McMahon. At the buzzer, blows up the board in the Express.
Told him just to wait till we turn for home and give him what we got. They didn't think we were supposed to be here, but they forgot to tell the horse not to win.
At the top of the stretch, half mile in 45-2. The Cat's Meow. Rattling Jispy on the far outside. Right to Rule. Under pressure went She's a Dozer. Then Wild About Marie. Down toward the final 16th. Rattling Jispy's in front under Rosina Provnik. It's Rattling Jispy pulling away. Rattling Jispy. Rattling Jispy reports home by 3 lengths from the Cat's Meow.
She's a real nice filly. I was told to just settle her back and try to get to the outside if we could, and she just took it all from there at the head of the lane.
In the final furlong and a half, here comes Compliance Officer. Compliance Officer strikes the top on the edge of the 16th pole. At the inside, Barishnikov, second staying on. Quick Delivery, Monsanti and Avenstoke. It's Alex Solis and Compliance Officer. Compliance Officer, a going away winner of the Emerald.
He's really a very easy horse to ride. He broke really alert. As soon as I took him in behind those horses, he shut down, and from then on I just had to be patient. And when I got to the 3A pole, I got him out in the clear, and he did his thing.
Into the stretch, Isthmus, this long-time leader, getting those stern left-handers from Rosina Provnik. El Mutasib charging on the outside. It happened again, splits foes. Then Rain King, Harmonizer on the far outside. They're deep in the final furlong. Isthmus hanging on by a thread. Here comes It Happened Again for Shane Sellers. It happened again. The jewel goes to It Happened Again from Isthmus, El Mutasib third, and Harmonizer finish fourth.
I was a little worried going into the turn, but he going up the backside, I put him in behind horses, and he let it go on me. And I was a little worried again, he let it go a little too much. But I pressed on him going into the turn, and I had a choice to go inside or outside, and I know what Steve wants. He wants inside, and I put him inside, and made it a winning trip.
From complete obscurity to a high-flying career, Lava Man is racing's modern-day version of Seabiscuit. Non-memorable best describes this California bred's early career. Originally trained by his co-breeder and owner Lonnie Arterburn, Lava Man debuted in 2003 as a juvenile for a $12,500 claiming tag. His starting off point was the rough-and-tumble Stockton Fair. His modest success on the turf on the Northern California circuit prompted Arterburn to ship the gelding to Del Mar during his 3-year-old campaign. Lava Man caught the attention of claiming kingpin Doug O'Neill, who swooped in and claimed him for $50,000. 1 month after the claim, the gelding won his first stakes at Fairplex for his new owners, STD Racing Stable and Jason Wood.
Lava Man and Omar Figueroa romping in the Derby trial.
The fairy tale continued to gain momentum in the coming months. Just 6 months after the claim, Lava Man came close to winning a Grade 1.
They hit the wire and rock hard 10 from last to first in the Malibu.
By the summer of 2005, Lava Man had won his first Grade 1, and in dramatic fashion.
No way does he catch the winner, and the winner's Lava Man!
Lava Man's style was to lay it all on the track, and that was never more apparent than in the 2005 Pacific Classic.
Borrego beats Perfect Drift.
After finishing third, he was so exhausted he had to be vanned off the track. Without question, Lava Man's best year was 2006. He accounted for Grade 1s on dirt and turf.
Coming home late, who's crying now? But Lava Man has won it, and Lava Man and Cory Nakatani have won the big cap. Lava Man crushes the winning here. Lava Man, Ace Blue, right together! And Lava Man and Cory Nakatani have won the Pacific Classic. And Lava Man and Cory Nakatani take the Goodwood Breeders' Cup Handicap.
The Horse of the Year title surely would have gone to Lava Man had he won the Breeders' Cup Classic. But he suffered his only defeat of the season at Churchill Downs. As a 6-year-old, he was still going strong, doubling up again in the Sunshine Million.
But the class of Lava Man is once again too much for them.
And winning the Hollywood Gold Cup for a record-tying 3rd time.
Lava Man, AT excellent, big booster, Lava Man, yeah!
But as the year wound down, he began to slow down. After several losses, his connections retired Lava Man in July of 2008. He came out of retirement for one more start in the 2009 San Gabriel Handicap and was promptly retired again when he didn't run well. His immense talent is forever immortalized in his impressive record. Lava Man still maintains a presence on the racetrack, at least in the mornings, as a stable pony at the O'Neill barn. When he isn't working, Lava Man spends his free time on his Twitter account.
.3/16 out. Isn't she grand to catch? CC's Pal trying to catch her. She's a length and a half behind. Inside the final furlong. Isn't she grand fully extended? CC's Pal gonna mow her down. CC's Pal got the lead 70 yards out, one going away by 2. Top of the stretch, Dr. Disco. Pretty Boy Freud driving to him. 1 furlong to go. Uncle T7 down toward the inside. On the far outside, late run Law Enforcement down to the final 100 yards. Dr. Disco, Law Enforcement coming with a flying finish, but it'll be Dr. Disco to the front running dance here to win it by a length. Tug of War, Swag Daddy, it's still wide open. Top of the stretch, and it is Pretension going head to head with Disco on. Swag Daddy rallies on the outside. Final 16th. Disco on, a desperate long shot. Pretension is there. Swag Daddy's still coming. Pretension comes away with the lead. Can Swag Daddy get him? Maybe. Swag Daddy and Pretension. Disco on third.
Coming up on HRTV Rewind.
When I first called Lenny Pike, Robbie obviously breezed him, and I called Lenny right after work. I said, what did they get him in? What do you think? And he said, well, Baffert said he went awesome. So, I felt pretty good about it after that.
You're watching HRTV Rewind, taking a look back at the racing week.
Graham, of course, Animal Kingdom was absolutely scintillating earlier on this year, and probably no more for anybody but yourself, no more so. Take us back to that day and the emotions that you were feeling as Animal Kingdom crossed the wire.
It was extraordinary. I mean, it's still somewhat emotional even to talk about it. Certainly you don't go into a race like that expecting to win it. You have high hopes, obviously. I felt very good about running him. Barry and I watched him breeze the weekend before, and his breeze was awesome. But the minute they crossed the wire, that was something else.
He'd never been on a racetrack that was dirt. Was that at all a concern the night before?
After watching his breeze, I felt pretty good about it. I mean, he was very impressive. He outworked a pretty decent 3-year-old of mine called Meistersinger, and he made him look like a very average horse that day. So I felt very good about how he would handle it. Always there's the unknown about how they're actually going to race on it, but he was doing very well going into the race.
He was kind of the buzz horse going in a sense. Gary Young, Private Clocker, even came on HRTV and said how great the horse had worked and looked impressively on the track. Did you get a lot of that, people coming up to you saying the same thing about his work?
Well, I did, actually. When I first called Lenny Pike, Robbie obviously breezed him, and I called Lenny right after work. I said, what did they get him in? What do you think? And he said, well, Baffert said he went awesome. So, I felt pretty good about it after that.
And you are looking at photos of Santa Anita Racetrack. For those of you that haven't heard, we were slammed with a severe windstorm 2 nights ago, and still about 300,000 or more people in Southern California, Los Angeles area, without power. This is the backstretch at Santa Anita, Gary. You have horses back there. You've been back there, but
no, my horses are actually over at Hollywood Park, but you can see what happened to the backstretch yesterday. Give the Santa Anita crew a lot of credit. Obviously, you weren't able to train horses yesterday, but this morning they opened the track at 6:30 for full training.
That's the Tim Yachtine barn.
That actually is the Doug. That might be the Doug O'Neill barn.
Different. That was Tim's barn.
But was just about as bad.
Tim's barn lost the whole wall. No horses were in that barn. They were at Hollywood. So were Doug O'Neill's. And luckily, those were the 2 barns hit the worst because there may have been injuries to horses had there been horses housed there at the time. But no injuries to horses, amazingly, is enough.
In the last decade, Frank Stronach and Khaled Abdullah's breeding empires have left other breeders on the sidelines when it comes to Eclipse Award recognition. Since 2000, the award has been won by either Stronach's Adena Springs or Abdullah's Juddmonte Farms. During that time period, Adena won a record 7 eclipses to Juddmonte's 4. Not surprisingly, elite runners have been the signature of both breeding operations. Stronach's familiar black, red, and gold silks have been carried by a number of homebred champions, including Ghost Zapper, Ginger Punch, and Macho Uno. Exceptional homebreds campaigned on U.S. soil by the globally powerful Juddmonte include Empire Maker, Flute, Midday, and Ventura. Consideration for the Eclipse Award for Outstanding Owner has been more varied. Since 2000, 10 different owners were honored, including a tie in 2006 between Roy and Gretchen's Lael stable and Sheikh Mohammed's Darley stable. More than once, Stronach and Juddmonte topped the owners list the same year they took down the Eclipse for Outstanding Breeder. Windstar Farm received the Eclipse nod in 2010 as top owner for an outstanding season that included a Kentucky Derby win and a Belmont Stakes victory.
On the outside here at the wire, Drosselmeyer, who gets first due to the shadow of the wire.
Do you think we'll see one of these two operations, Juddmonte or Adena, or could the Ramseys come up with the Eclipse Award for top breeder?
Well, Adena is always an outfit that's always been powerful that I've enjoyed following their horses and have often voted for as breeder of the year through the years. But I think the Ramseys are coming into play very seriously this year with a homebred Stephanie's Kitten winning the Alcibiades and then going on to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf this year. You know, Holiday for Kitten was a big winner of the Thoroughbred Club of America. And then a horse they didn't have that, you know, wasn't a homebred, Headache, but he was a Grade 2 winner. They went through this period of this fall of just firing off graded wins, so they probably put themselves in a position not only for breeder but also owner with those accomplishments.
And, of course, doing so with a stallion that they raced and owned. Of course, the Ramseys with Kitten's Joy. When you vote, Marion, and categories such as the breeder and the owner, are you looking for quantity or quality in terms of the success of a possible candidate?
That's a good question. It kind of depends on how the year unfolds somewhat. If you do have an individual who just had an outstanding year at the top level of the game, breeding Grade 1 winners or owning Grade 1 winners, I would tend to favor that. But I'm also respective of numbers, like an outfit like Midwest Thoroughbreds from an ownership standpoint. They're approaching 400 wins this year. They've put 1,300 starters on the track. So numbers, you know, play a role in it. But again, I think it's as each year falls, and if there is just an outstanding accomplishment, sometimes a small breeder accomplishes some amazing things with just a few mares.
That's all for Rewind this week. Here's a look at what's coming up next week on HRTV.